My name is Nellie Hartley, 28 years old. When I was 18, my mother looked me dead in the eyes and said, "Aubrey is the smart one. You were never going anywhere. We're not wasting another cent on you." Then they drained my entire $187,000 college fund and gave every dollar to my sister for UPenn. For 7 brutal years, I worked 3 jobs, barely slept, and scraped by while they posted her graduation photos everywhere, calling her their golden child and pride and joy. And today, I'm a senior paralegal in San Diego, hunting insurance fraud for a living. Last January, a file landed on my desk. Defendant: Hartley, Aubrey. Amount: $520,000 in fraudulent claims. Every document had my sister's forged signature, from my father's company. They didn't just steal my future to lift her up. They stole her identity and turned her into a criminal, using the money they took from me. What I did next didn't just expose them. It burned their perfect family to the ground. Before I continue, if this story hits close to home, please hit like and subscribe. Drop your location and what time it is where you're watching from in the comments. I read every single one. And if you've ever been the forgotten child in your family, tell me in the comments. You're not alone. Now, let me take you back to the day everything changed. It started in May 2016, 2 weeks after I turned 18. I came home with the acceptance letter in my hand. Arizona State University, Barrett Honors College, partial merit scholarship, $8,500 per year. The green ASU logo at the top felt like validation, proof that I wasn't just average, that I had potential, that the $187,000 my grandmother had been saving since I was born would actually go towards something meaningful. My father was in the kitchen when I showed him. He barely looked at the letter. "Honey, sit down. There's been a financial situation with the business, the college fund. It's not available right now." I felt the air leave my lungs. "What do you mean, not available? Grandma Grace has been adding to it since I was born." "It's complicated. We had to make some business decisions, emergency capital." He still wouldn't look at me. My mother stood by the sink, silent, staring at her wine glass like it held all the answers. I wanted to scream. Instead, I asked the only question that mattered. "When will it be available?" He didn't answer. Aubrey walked in asking what was for dinner, and just like that, the conversation was over. 2 weeks later, they called a family meeting. I knew something was wrong the moment I saw the champagne. My parents don't buy champagne. We're not that kind of family. But there it was on the dining room table. Prosecco from Trader Joe's, $12.99, condensation beating on the glass. My mother was already taking photos with her phone. "Sit down, everyone. We have incredible news." Aubrey was grinning, practically vibrating with excitement. My father put his hand on her shoulder. "Your mother and I need to talk to you about the fund," he started, looking at me. "What about it?" My mother set down her wine glass. She looked directly at me for the first time in weeks. "Aubrey got into UPenn. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity." "Okay, but what about my fund? I got into Barrett Honors." She cut me off. Her voice was calm, matter-of-fact, like she was explaining why we couldn't afford a new car. "Aubrey is the smart one. You were never going anywhere. We're not wasting another cent on you." The room went silent. Even Aubrey's smile faltered for half a second. My father looked away. My mother turned back to Aubrey, warmth flooding back into her voice like someone had flipped a switch. "Nothing, sweetheart. We're celebrating you." I looked down at the UPenn acceptance letter on the table. Cost of attendance: $73,450 per year, times 4 years. My fund was $187,000. They were going to spend every dollar I had and more on my sister. I didn't cry. I couldn't. I just sat there while they popped the Prosecco and toasted to Aubrey's bright future. Nobody toasted to mine. That night, I sent my father an email. Dad, can we talk about the timeline for recovering the fund? I can defer ASU for a year if needed. Please let me know what the plan is. Nellie. He responded at 11:52 p.m. The timestamp told me everything I needed to know. He'd waited until late, like this was business correspondence, not a conversation with his daughter. Nellie. The funds were allocated to higher priority family investment. Your mother and I have discussed, and we believe community college is a better fit for your academic profile. You can work part-time. Aubrey's opportunity is once in a lifetime. I'm sure you understand. Dad. Not love, Dad. Just Dad. He'd CC'd my mother. She never sent her own email. She let him deliver the blow. I read higher priority family investment 15 times. Each time it hurt a little less and made me a little angrier. I wasn't the priority. I wasn't even the investment. I was the acceptable loss. The next month, they threw Aubrey a UPenn send-off party. 65 people RSVP'd. They hired a caterer. They bought decorations in pen blue and red. They printed invitations that said, "Celebrating Aubrey's acceptance to the University of Pennsylvania." I was assigned kitchen duty. When my Aunt Carol asked where I was headed to college, I opened my mouth to answer. My mother cut me off. Nellie's taking a gap year to figure things out. Not everyone is ready right away like Aubrey. Later, I overheard her talking to a neighbor by the punch bowl. We invested everything in the daughter who could actually make something of herself. The other one, well, she'll find her level. I found my mother's party planning notebook later that week. She'd budgeted $1,800 for Aubrey's send-off party. My high school graduation 3 weeks earlier, 8 people at Olive Garden, no cake. My parents left early because my father had work. My graduation gift was a $50 Barnes & Noble gift card. That summer, I found my grandmother's old deposit slips in a keepsake box in my closet. 15 years of deposits, $200 here, $500 there, sometimes $1,000, all marked for Nellie's future in my grandmother's handwriting, which got shakier and shakier over the years as arthritis set in. The final deposit was from December 2015. $5,000. The note said, "For graduation." There was another note, older, dated 2001 when I was 3 years old. "For my Nellie girl. So you can chase any dream you want. Love never has to be earned. Grandma G." I called her that night. "Grandma, did you know about the fund?" There was a long pause. When she spoke, her voice cracked. "Your father called me last month, said it was a temporary business loan, said he'd pay it back. I told him that money was for you, not his company. He said you didn't need it as much as Aubrey did." I couldn't speak. "Honey, I'm so sorry. I should have done something. It's not your fault, Grandma." But it was someone's fault. I put all the deposit slips in a manila folder. I labeled it evidence. I didn't know why. I just knew that someday I'd need proof of what was taken from me. In June 2016, I started as a legal secretary at a small personal injury firm in Phoenix. My first paycheck was $1,843 after taxes. I sat in my car in the parking lot and cried looking at the pay stub. Gross, $2,333. Rent, $725. Utilities, $150. Groceries, $200. Paralegal program payment, $200. Car insurance, $110. Phone, $45. Gas, $120. That left $293 for everything else. My boss, attorney Phil Morrison, found me updating the case management system one afternoon. He watched me work for a moment. "You're good with details, Nellie. If you're serious about law, This is where you start. The bottom. Nobody hands you anything in this field. I'm learning that. You'll do fine. You've got something most law school kids don't. What's that? You're hungry? He was right. I was starving. That night, I got a notification on my phone. Aubrey had posted on Facebook, "Packing for Philadelphia, can't believe this is happening." 132 likes. My mother commented, "So proud of our girl." My father commented, "Worth every penny." I deleted the Facebook app. By 2017, I was working 3 jobs. Legal secretary, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Uber driver, Friday and Saturday nights, sometimes until 3 a.m. Paralegal certification classes on Sunday mornings. I slept in my car between shifts sometimes. It was easier than driving home for 4 hours of sleep. One Saturday night, around 2:14 a.m., I picked up a passenger outside a bar in Scottsdale. Middle-aged guy, friendly, tipped well. "You do this full-time?" "Just nights and weekends." "What's your day job?" "Legal secretary." "Damn, that's hustle. You saving for something?" I'd never said it out loud before, but at 2 a.m., exhausted, driving a stranger through empty streets, the truth just came out. Yeah, my own life. He was quiet for a moment. Then he pulled out his wallet and handed me a $20 bill. "Keep grinding, you'll make it." I kept that 20 in my wallet for 3 months. First kindness from a stranger in longer than I could remember. My Uber earnings that month, 89 rides, 48 hours online, $930 after Uber's cut in gas. That worked out to $14.89 per hour. Less than minimum wage. But it was mine. In December 2019, my mother sent me a text. "We're having a small family gathering tomorrow for Aubrey's break. Didn't want to bother you since you're probably working. Hope you have a nice holiday." It was December 23rd, 10:15 p.m. I found out through Facebook that the small family gathering was a party for 32 people. Aubrey's sophomore year celebration. I spent Christmas Eve alone in my studio apartment, eating Chinese takeout from the place down the street. My phone rang on December 26th. Grandma Grace. "I didn't know they weren't inviting you." She was crying. "I wouldn't have gone if I'd known. Nellie, I asked about you and your mother said you were too busy with work." I should have known she was lying. "I'm so sorry, honey." "It's okay, Grandma." It wasn't okay. It would never be okay. But what was I going to do? Show up uninvited and make a scene? Demand they love me? You can't force people to see your worth. I'd learned that lesson early. November 2022, I passed my paralegal certification exam. Score, 89%, top 15% nationally. I bought a cupcake from the grocery store and ate it alone in my apartment at 11 p.m., looking at the results on my laptop screen. "Nobody handed me this," I said out loud. "I fucking earned this." I sent myself an email with the subject line, "I did it." Passed. 89%. Top 15% nationally. No family money, no connections, no safety net. Just work. Remember this when they try to tell you you weren't good enough. Remember this. I bought an $8 frame from Target and hung the certificate on my wall that night. I thought about calling my parents to tell them. I pulled up my mother's contact and stared at it for 5 minutes. Then I remembered, you were never going anywhere. I deleted the contact. They'd never asked how school was going. Why would they care now? On February 28th, 2023, I received an email that changed everything. Dear Ms. Hartley, after reviewing your qualifications and speaking with you last week, we'd like to extend an offer for the position of junior paralegal specializing in insurance litigation. Starting salary, $52,000 annually with benefits. Start date, March 20th, 2023. We think you'll be an excellent fit for our fraud investigation team. Welcome aboard, J. Rains, Jessica Rains, Morrison and Reed LLP, San Diego, California. $52,000 a year, nearly double what I was making in Phoenix. Health insurance for the first time in my life. 401k matching. 15 days of PTO. I accepted immediately. I didn't tell my parents I was moving states. I packed everything I owned into my 2014 Honda Civic, seats folded down. On March 18th, 2023, at 5:33 a.m., I left Phoenix and watched it disappear in my rearview mirror. Nobody called to say goodbye. I didn't call either. San Diego was different. Morrison and Reed was a mid-size firm that specialized in insurance litigation. My job was to dig through financial documents, track down forged signatures, find the paper trails people thought they'd hidden. I was good at it. Better than good. By March 2024, I'd been promoted to paralegal 2. My fraud detection rate was 94%. The firm average was 67%. I'd personally saved clients $2.3 million across 18 major cases. My supervising partner, Troy Fisher, called me into his office. "Nellie, your case analysis on the Westfield fraud saved us $380,000 in false claims. I'm promoting you effective immediately." "Thank you." "Don't thank me. You earned it. Keep this up and you'll be senior before you're 30. In January 2025, they made me senior paralegal. 22 months at the firm. The partners said it was unheard of. Jessica Rains took me to dinner to celebrate. "You remind me of me at your age," she said. "Hungry, relentless. You're going places." I thought. They said I was never going anywhere. Look at me now. While I was building my career in San Diego, my sister was falling apart in Phoenix. May 2023. Aubrey graduated from UPenn with a degree in psychology. My parents flew out for the ceremony and posted 14 photos across Facebook and Instagram. My mother's caption, "Words cannot express how proud we are. Our daughter, Aubrey Michelle Hartley, has graduated from the University of Pennsylvania, class of 2023, psychology major. The world is hers. Hashtag proud mom, hashtag Ivy League grad, hashtag worth every penny." Worth every penny. My father posted too. "4 years ago, we made an investment in our daughter's future. Today, that investment paid off." 184 comments. 0 mentions of me. I screenshot the posts and saved them in a folder on my laptop labeled Receipts. I didn't know why. Just instinct. Aubrey got her first job in July 2023. HR coordinator at a tech startup. 8 weeks later, she was fired. My mother's spin on the family group text I wasn't part of. Aubrey has decided that startup culture isn't the right environment for someone with her education level. She's looking for positions that better match her UPenn credentials. So proud of her for knowing her worth. I saw her LinkedIn update. Exploring new opportunities in the Phoenix metro area. Open to roles in HR, organizational psychology, and consulting. UPenn class of 2023. Profile views, 24. Messages from recruiters, 0. What I learned later from Aubrey herself, she'd been late 9 times in 6 weeks and told the engineering lead his ideas were beneath Penn standards. That was job number 1. Over the next 2 years, there were 6 more. Therapist assistant, fired for chronic lateness, research assistant, fired for refusing to revise her work. Wellness coach at a gym. One of my father's friends hired her as a favor. She quit after 10 weeks. Content coordinator at a nonprofit. My mother's connection. 3-month contract, not renewed. Social media manager, freelance through a temp agency, terminated early. Executive assistant at a law firm, temp to hire. Fired during probation. 7 jobs in 28 months. Average tenure, 11 weeks. By late 2025, Aubrey's resume was radioactive. No legitimate employer would touch her. She was getting work through staffing agencies that didn't do deep reference checks. The pattern was always the same. She'd start strong, mention her UPenn degree in the first meeting, then slowly reveal that she couldn't take criticism, couldn't handle deadlines, couldn't accept that a fancy diploma doesn't make you exempt from doing the work. My parents kept defending her publicly. My mother's posts, "Aubrey is just finding the right fit. She's too qualified for most positions." In October 2025, at age 24, Aubrey moved back into their house. Unemployed, $335 in her checking account. No prospects. My parents still posted about how proud they were. I didn't think about them much anymore. I'd built a life 355 miles away, in a city where nobody knew my family history, where my worth was measured by the quality of my work, not by comparison to my sister. Then, January 14th, 2026 happened. It was a Tuesday, 2:51 p.m. My supervising partner, Troy Fisher, dropped a case file on my desk. New multi-plaintiff insurance fraud case, right up your alley, 3 carriers versus 1 contractor. What's the scheme? Classic overbilling, inflated damage estimates, phantom work, forged credentials. I need your forensic eye on the documents. Signatures look suspicious. Timeline? Prelim hearing March 8th. We need full analysis by end of month. Can you handle it? Yeah, I've got it. He walked away. I opened the file. Case CV-2025-08834. Morrison and Reed representing Allied Mutual Insurance. The folder was 2 inches thick. I read the cover sheet. Defendants. 1. Hartley Property Restoration, LLC. 2. Douglas Hartley. 3. Aubrey Michelle Hartley. My hands went cold. My coffee cup tipped over. Dark liquid spread across my desk, soaking into papers. I didn't move. I couldn't. I just stared at my sister's name. Aubrey Michelle Hartley. My sister. Defendant in an insurance fraud case. $500,000. I counted the seconds. 52 of them before I could breathe again. Jessica Raines walked past the conference room window. She saw the spilled coffee, saw my face, knocked on the glass. "Hey, you okay?" I couldn't answer. My throat had closed. She opened the door. "Nellie, what's wrong?" I need a minute." She looked at the file in my hands, saw the name on the cover sheet, and her expression changed. "Take the rest of the day. We'll talk tomorrow." I locked myself in a conference room for 3 hours. 23 insurance claims. June 2021 through August 2025. Aubrey's signature on every single one. Claim 1. June 18th, 2021. Fire damage restoration. Contractor, Aubrey Michelle Hartley. License number, AZ-R OC-3 32156. I pulled up her Instagram on my phone. June 2021. Photo of UPenn campus. Caption, "Last finals week ever. Can't believe junior year is done." She was in Philadelphia. Claim 7. November 3rd, 2022. Water damage, $38,450. Signed by Aubrey M. Hartley. I checked Facebook. My mother had posted that day. "Happy 21st birthday to our brilliant daughter Aubrey. So proud of the woman you've become." Her birthday. Family dinner in Phoenix. How was she also signing contractor documents? Claim 19. December 24th, 2023. Structural repair. $54,000. I checked my own phone photos. Christmas Eve 2023. Me, alone in my San Diego apartment, eating Chinese takeout. Aubrey had posted an Instagram story. Family dinner, #blessed. She was with them. With my father. Someone had signed her name while she sat in the same room, eating Christmas dinner, completely unaware. The contractor license stopped me cold. a Z-ROC-332-156, issued to Aubrey Michelle Hartley, June 1st, 2021. I knew Arizona contractor licensing requirements: 4 years of verifiable experience or trade school completion, passed 2 exams, insurance bond minimum $7,500. Aubrey was 19 in June 2021, a full-time college student in Pennsylvania. She didn't know how to use a hammer. I pulled up the Arizona ROC database and ran the license number. No contractor license issued under this number. No active or inactive license for Aubrey Michelle Hartley in our system. The license was fake. My father had created fabricated documents. The insurance companies had paid out $520,000 in claims over 4 years without verifying the credentials, because most adjusters don't check licenses on routine claims under $50,000. They only caught it in 2024 when their audit software flagged repetitive billing patterns. I had a birthday card Aubrey had sent me in 2015, back when we still pretended to be close. I kept it in a box at home with other old papers. That night, I pulled it out and looked at her signature. Then I compared it to the signatures in the case file. They weren't even close. The real Aubrey had a leftward slant, open loop Ys, flowing connective strokes. The forgeries had a rightward slant, closed loop Is, hesitation marks where the pen lifted mid-letter. Someone had been practicing her signature, getting better at it over the years, but never quite getting it right. The next morning, I used my legal authority on the case to pull Aubrey's credit report. What I found made me sick. Credit score, 412, 6 credit cards, total debt, $85,230. Cards Aubrey had actually applied for, 0. Capital One, opened October 2021, $14,230 balance, 90+ days delinquent. Chase, opened February 2022, $18,450 balance, in collections. Discover, Wells Fargo, American Express, Bank of America. All opened between October 2021 and April 2023. All from the same IP address, 198.168.1.39. I cross-referenced the address. My father's office computer. Every application listed Aubrey as project manager at Hartley Property Restoration. Annual salary, $48,000. Employment start date, June 2019, when she was 17 and in high school. Someone had created fabricated pay stubs, fake employment verification, and used her identity to open credit. The first card was small, just $5,000. Then I saw the pattern. Someone had made minimum payments on time for 18 months, built Aubrey's credit score from nothing to around 680. With that established payment history, the subsequent cards approved her for higher and higher limits. Then, in September 2023, someone maxed out every card and stopped paying. The score crashed from 680 to 412 in 12 months. There were notes in the collections file. November 23, 2025, called primary phone. Subject stated she did not open these accounts. Possible identity theft. Advised to file police report. December 15th, 2025, follow-up call. Subject's father answered, stated, family matter being handled privately, no police report needed. My father had answered the phone, told them not to file a report. Convinced Aubrey it was a mistake he would fix. She'd believed him. She always believed him. I hired a forensic document analyst, Dr. Raymond Cooper. $3,200, authorized case expense. His report came back 12 pages long. The questioned signatures exhibit simulation characteristics consistent with conscious forgery attempt by a different writer. Biomechanical markers are distinctly different. Statistical probability that the same person wrote both sets. Less than 0.01%. Zero chance Aubrey had signed those documents. Dr. Cooper couldn't identify who had forged them without comparison samples, but he confirmed all 49 forgeries were created by the same hand. I went home that night and pulled out old family documents from a storage box. My father's signature on random papers. Car registration from 2018, home insurance form from 2019. I placed a transparency of the question signature over my father's real signature. The Y loops matched. The rightward slant matched. The pen pressure patterns matched. I was looking at my father's handwriting, attempting to mimic my sister's. I took a photo. Saved it. Evidence. Then I sat on my apartment floor and cried for the first time in 8 years. I had a choice to make. I could proceed with the case as assigned. Build the prosecution against Aubrey, destroy the sister who represented everything I'd lost. It would be justice in a way. They'd chosen her. They'd sacrificed me for her. Now she was facing criminal charges, and I had all the evidence to prove her guilt. Or I could do something else. Jessica Raines found me in the conference room at 11:34 p.m. Your car is still in the lot. What's going on? I couldn't look at her. This case, the defendant, Aubrey Hartley. The contractor fraud? What about her? She's my sister. Jessica went very still. Jesus Christ, she didn't do it. The words came out in a rush. I can prove it. My father forged everything, her license, her signatures, opened credit cards in her name. She was in college when half these claims were filed. She has no idea any of this exists. Does she know you're working this case? We haven't spoken in 4 years. My parents took my $187,000 college fund and gave it to her for UPenn. Told me I wasn't worth investing in. Jessica sat down across from me. Oh, Nellie, I finally looked up at her. I could destroy her. I have all the evidence to prove she committed fraud. It would be justice, right? They chose her over me. They ruined my life for her. Is that what you want? I'd been asking myself that question all day. No, because she didn't do this. She's a victim too. My father destroyed both of us, just in different ways. If I don't help her, she'll go to prison for crimes she didn't commit. But if I do help her, you'll have to destroy your parents. They destroyed me first. Jessica was quiet for a long moment. Then she said, Okay, here's what we're going to do. You're going to formally recuse yourself from this case due to conflict of interest. That's non-negotiable. It protects you professionally. I'm going to take over as lead counsel. And then I'm going to call your sister. Because if what you're showing me is true, she's not a defendant. She's a victim. And we don't prosecute victims at this firm. You'd do that? I've been doing insurance fraud for 20 years. I can smell real criminals. Your sister isn't one. Your father is. I started crying again. For the first time in 8 years, someone had chosen to protect both me and Aubrey. Thank you. Don't thank me yet. This is going to get ugly. Are you ready for that? I've been ready for 8 years. On February 18th, 2026 at 8:13 p.m., I called my sister for the first time in 4 years. The phone rang 6 times. I almost hung up. Then she answered. Hello? Her voice was hoarse, like she'd been crying for days. Aubrey, it's Nellie. Silence. Nellie? Yeah. Why are you calling? I need to talk to you about the insurance lawsuit, the one with your name on it. How do you know about that? I'm a paralegal. The case landed on my desk. I heard her breath catch. Aubrey, you're in serious trouble. The kind of trouble that ends with prison time if you don't act now. Dad said it's just a misunderstanding. He said he'd handle it. Dad is the one who did this to you. What? Can we meet? Tomorrow morning. Dutch Bros on Camelback Road, just you and me. Another long pause. Okay. I hung up and immediately got in my car. It was 8:31 p.m. I drove from San Diego to Phoenix overnight, 355 miles, arriving at 2:23 a.m. I sat in a hotel parking lot until sunrise. Aubrey walked into the coffee shop at 9:52 a.m. She looked smaller than I remembered, thinner. The golden child had been hollowed out. We sat across from each other with our coffee cups between us like a demilitarized zone. "Show me," she said. I pulled out the folder. 23 insurance claims, signature analysis from Dr. Cooper, credit card statements, license verification showing AZ-R, OC-3, 32156 didn't exist. She read in silence for 20 minutes. When she got to the signature comparison, her hands started shaking. "That's not my handwriting." "I know. Oh my God, that's not my handwriting." She looked up at me, and I saw real fear for the first time. The credit cards. I didn't open those. I've been getting collection calls for months. Dad said it was identity theft, that he'd help me file a report, but he kept saying we should handle it privately first. He's the one who opened them. From his office computer. No. "Aubrey, look at the IP address." She looked. I watched her face as the realization hit. He used me? Yes. But why? I don't understand. They chose me. They paid for everything. They were proud of me. I couldn't help it. I laughed. It came out bitter and sharp. They weren't proud of you. They used you. Just like they used me. They just used us differently. Her phone buzzed. Text from our mother. "Where are you? Your father needs to talk to you about the lawyer." Aubrey turned her phone off. We sat there for 6 hours. I showed her everything. The timeline, the forged documents, the fake employment verification, the systematic destruction of her credit. "I'm unemployed," she said at one point. "I can't afford a lawyer. That court-appointed guy, Evan Murphy, he told me to just plead guilty and hope for probation." "You're not pleading guilty to anything. My boss, Jessica Raines, is one of the best insurance fraud attorneys in California. She's agreed to represent you pro bono." "Why would she do that?" "Because you're innocent, and because I asked her to." Aubrey looked at me like she was seeing me for the first time. "I'm sorry," she said. "For what?" "For everything. For not questioning it. For letting them. For being the favorite while you—" She couldn't finish. "You were 19 when they took my money. You didn't make that choice." "I benefited from it." "Yeah? You did." We sat with that truth between us. Then she said, "What do we do now?" "Now you come with me to San Diego. We have 12 days to build your defense, and you're going to give me access to everything in that house. Every document, every text message, every piece of paper that proves what he did. If I do this, they'll never forgive me. They never saw you as a person, Aubrey. They saw you as a trophy. And when trophies get tarnished, they get thrown away. That's what they're doing to you right now." She was quiet for a long time. Then she nodded. On February 24th, Jessica Raines officially filed to represent Aubrey Michelle Hartley. The filing deadline for Aubrey's response was March 8th. We had 12 days. Aubrey moved into my apartment. She slept on my couch. At night, I could hear her crying, but during the day, she was methodical. She went back to our parents' house when they were out and photographed everything in my father's home office. 34 documents, insurance claim drafts, practice signature sheets where he'd been learning to forge her handwriting, credit card applications with his handwriting filling in her information. She recovered text messages from her old phone, 129 messages between my father and contractors she'd never heard of, coordinating jobs under Aubrey's supervision. And then, she found the ledger. It was in a locked file cabinet. She broke the lock with a screwdriver. The ledger dated back to 2014. Handwritten entries in my father's writing. Business expenses, equipment purchases, contractor payments. And then, on page 47, an entry from May 2016. Family emergency loan, $187,000, repaid via AU college savings account. My college fund hadn't been spent on Aubrey's education. It had been stolen, laundered through his business, listed as a loan he'd paid back by raiding what was supposed to be Aubrey's separate college savings. They'd taken from both of us. When Aubrey showed me the ledger entry, she was shaking. "He used both of us," she said. "He just used us differently." I took a photo of the page, added it to the evidence file. "Yeah," I said. "He did." That night, Aubrey fell asleep on my couch, exhausted from crying. I covered her with a blanket. It was the first time in 8 years I'd felt like I had a sister. March 6th, 2026. Friday. 2 days before the filing deadline. Maricopa County Superior Court. Preliminary hearing for case consolidation. My parents were already there when we arrived. My father in a suit that was slightly too tight. My mother in a dress I recognized from Facebook photos. They saw me first. My father's mouth opened. No words came out. My mother found her voice. "Nellie, what are you doing here?" I looked at her. Calm, cold, precise. "My job." Then Aubrey walked in behind me. My mother's face went white. Jessica Raines was already at the plaintiff's table setting up her materials. The insurance company attorneys, 6 of them, were on the other side. Aubrey's court-appointed lawyer, Evan Murphy, stood in the corner looking confused. Judge Patricia Whitmore took the bench. "We're here for preliminary hearing on CV-2, 025-08834. Insurance fraud allegations. Counsel, state your appearances." Jessica stood. Jessica Raines of Morrison and Reed LLP, representing defendant Aubrey Hartley. "Your Honor, I'm filing a motion to dismiss all charges against my client with prejudice. She is not a perpetrator in this case. She is a victim of identity theft." The courtroom went silent. Jessica presented her evidence packet. 156 pages. Signature analysis from Dr. Raymond Cooper. 12 pages of technical breakdown showing the forgeries. Credit forensics. 23 pages documenting the systematic identity theft, the fabricated employment, the IP address trail leading back to Douglas Hartley's office. Timeline analysis. 45 pages proving Aubrey was in Philadelphia during dozens of the alleged contractor jobs, with social media posts, class schedules, and dorm check-in records as corroboration. Text message logs between Douglas and contractors, discussing work Aubrey was supposedly supervising. And the ledger, the handwritten proof that my father had been committing fraud for over a decade. Judge Whitmore took 20 minutes to review. The courtroom was completely silent except for the sound of turning pages. Finally, she looked up. "Based on the preliminary evidence presented, Miss Aubrey Hartley appears to be a victim of identity theft rather than a perpetrator. I'm granting the motion to dismiss charges against her without prejudice, pending further review." She looked directly at my father. "Mr. Hartley, you're strongly advised to retain criminal defense counsel immediately." The insurance company attorneys went into a huddle. 5 minutes later, they filed an amended complaint, adding Douglas Hartley as defendant, adding Diane Hartley as defendant, dropping all charges against Aubrey. The judge ordered criminal referral to the Maricopa County District Attorney's Office. New charges against my father: 18 counts of felony fraud, 6 counts of identity theft, 4 counts of forgery. Against my mother, 3 counts of accessory, 2 counts of conspiracy. My father stood up. His voice cracked. "You turned your own father in?" I looked at him. Every eye in the courtroom was on me. "You stole my future and destroyed hers. I'm just doing what you taught me, putting business first." Aubrey stood next to me. For the first time in our lives, we were on the same side. The courtroom sketch artist was drawing frantically. 2 sisters, one in a professional suit, one in a borrowed dress, standing united. We walked out of the courthouse into a wall of reporters. Local news had been monitoring the case. High-value fraud, prominent local business owner, family drama. They smelled blood. Miss Hartley, can you comment on the charges against your father? Aubrey grabbed my hand. We didn't say anything to the cameras. We didn't need to. The evidence had already spoken. That night, the story broke on every local news channel. Insurance fraud case takes shocking turn. Phoenix father allegedly used daughter's identity to commit $520,000 in fraud. Sister who uncovered scheme works as fraud investigator.